You know, I'm realizing right now 2018 was a very farmy year for me. There were a lot of farms in my life. I don't know, I guess I just spent a lot of time in the Midwest earlier last year and then again towards the end of last year, and I helped my parents move to a condo right next to this farm right here, so I just got a lot of farmland. I don't know, kind of hope 2019 has a little bit less of it. So I kind of ended up getting stuck in Massachusetts. I know I mentioned at the end of the last video that I was going to be coming here for a cousin's wedding, and the wedding went really well. It was a lot of fun, really beautiful day. But the day after it, I came down with the flu, and I was supposed to fly out the day after that, and I was just not in a position to get on an airplane and fly out of here. So I extended the trip for another week. It was cheaper. I found the cheapest day. It ended up being a week later to change my flight to. Flights are really expensive this time of year, especially to San Antonio for some reason from Providence. But it was it's been kind of a rough week for me, guys. I have not been feeling well. I had a crazy fever, was dealing with that for a few days, and I'm finally feeling a little better today, so I wanted to go for a little walk here and enjoy the sunset by this farm. But I guess in hindsight, walking around when it's 25 degrees outside and absolutely freezing after just being sick for an entire week probably isn't the best decision, so I think I'm gonna go inside and warm up. Yeah, definitely not a good idea. My hands are still freezing from being out there for so long. So I'm flying back to Texas tomorrow, hopefully, assuming I don't get the flu again. Or actually, I think it's supposed to snow for a good portion of the day tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be when I'm flying out in the morning or not, but I guess that could also delay things as well. So hopefully I get out of here tomorrow and I can get back, and I'm looking forward to getting to the warmer weather. And it's kind of just been a rough start for me to 2019, guys. It just hasn't really been a lot of fun between being sick and a few other things that were going on, and I'm ready to kind of put it all behind me and move on and just restart the year and try to make the most of it here. So I do have a couple of things that I'm really looking forward to once I get back to Texas, and I know I've talked about it in previous videos quite a bit, but the concept of whether or not I'm going to be remodeling the Element or going with something else, and I have an opportunity to possibly go with something else that will be really neat and something kind of different and that I've been wanting to do for a while. So I'm not going to go into too much detail yet because I don't know exactly how it's going to work out, but I will keep you guys posted over the next couple of videos here as always, and I'm going to be trying to make videos more frequently as well. I know that I missed last week's. I've been trying to do a weekly schedule for the past month or two, and I've missed a couple. Like I said, it's been kind of a rough start to the year, but I am ready to get back on track with that as well. I really enjoy making these videos, and I want to keep doing that, obviously. I think I will check in with you guys though once I get to Texas. I have not even finished packing yet. Like half of my laundry is on the bed here. I have like a bunch of stuff I have to do, and my flight leaves really early tomorrow morning, so I just got to get everything set up here, and I'll probably check in with you once I get to San Antonio. So yesterday ended up being a pretty long day. I guess it was just a lot of traveling. My first flight wasn't delayed at all. I didn't really have any problems getting out of New England. The weather was fine. But my second flight was like over 4 hours long, and I remember the first thing that the flight attendant said. They came over the intercom and they said, there are 143 seats on this plane and we have 144 passengers. There's not going to be a single empty seat. And there was a baby that was like sitting on a mom's lap, and there were just people everywhere. Normally I sleep pretty well on planes, but this flight was a little different. It was just so packed that I couldn't really get any rest. It does feel pretty good to finally be back in San Antonio though. The weather here is a lot warmer than it was in New England, and it's probably not going to snow anytime soon, so that's good. This weekend's looking really nice. Also found this pretty cool view of the downtown area from this park here. It's up on a hill. I guess it's elevated a little bit and you can see all the way across. It's pretty cool. I'm enjoying it. So naturally, after flying for the entire day yesterday afternoon, as soon as I got back to San Antonio, I decided to go to a car dealership, spend the rest of my day there, and I was looking at a Nissan NV200. I know I mentioned earlier in this video that there was an opportunity that I might have to be able to do something pretty cool, and it would involve getting an NV200. So saw one online, decided to go to this dealership and check it out. Still smells a little bit like curry in here. In terms of updates on this van here and what's going on with this van, like I said, it is an NV200 and it's relatively new. It's a 2018 and has 21,000 miles on it. And I'm supposed to go back there tomorrow to meet with them and go over the numbers and that whole thing. I worked in the auto industry for a while. Maybe some of you guys might know that already about me, but I do have some experience working in it. So I understand how to value cars and how to look into it. And if they can come to the right number for me and if we can make it work, I do think that they're a bit overpriced on it right now. They're asking a little bit more than it's worth, but if they can come to a number with me, maybe I would go for it. And the only thing that I'm really debating right now is why would I buy a slightly used van like this with relatively low miles when I could just get a brand new one for maybe $2,000 more. I mean, over the course of a 5-year loan, $2,000 extra really isn't that much money. So and also I'm looking at depreciation and everything, and I'm looking at what these vans are going for at auction, because I'm trying to figure out what they're, how much they've spent on it, how much they're in it, so then I can try to meet them halfway and bring the price down a little bit. But I'm looking at it and I'm seeing, like, as I drive this 2018 van with 20,000 miles on it off the lot, I'm gonna lose thousands and thousands of dollars instantly the second that I do it. Very similar to what would happen with a new van, and I think I might even lose less with a new van. So I'm almost tempted to just get something new. I could at least get the color that I want. This one is white. I would like to have it as silver or blue. They do make silver and blue ones, so it would be kind of cool to do that. But it's something that I'm considering over the next couple of weeks here. And the reason that I'm going with an NV200, I know I've mentioned in the past how much I like the idea of putting a pop top on a van and having a pop top on a compact cargo van like that. And the NV200 is the most popular one for doing pop tops. They're done pretty frequently in Europe, overseas, and they do them here in the United States. And there's a company that I'm working with that, like I said, I don't want to go into too much detail yet, but that I could have an opportunity to do this with. So that's kind of why I'm thinking NV200. I also like Nissan's warranty. I know I've talked about that in other videos before. They have a 5-year, 100,000 mile bumper to bumper warranty. It's pretty comprehensive, and it does transfer to new owners. So it'll work on a new van, and it'll obviously work on a used van as well. So that's something that I really like. If I'm going to be financing this, which I will be, obviously I don't have this amount of money just saved up right now, so I'm going to have to finance it. If I'm financing it, I want to make sure that it's under warranty during the length of the loan and while I'm paying it off. My plan is to pay it off as fast as possible, hopefully within a couple of years, but I want to be sure that it's under warranty while I'm making payments on it and while I don't fully own it yet. So that's kind of where I am with that whole thing. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger on this exact NV200, but more than likely I'm going to end up with an NV200 at some point in the next couple of weeks here in Texas. And as a result of that, I think it's probably time to start thinking about selling the Element. I can't believe I'm saying that. It feels weird. That's the first time I've said it out loud, and I don't know, it's definitely a weird feeling. I know I'm gonna hear it in the comments below from some of you guys. I got a lot of Nissan haters out there, and I understand why. Like, the CVTs had a lot of problems, and they probably still do. I believe that this Honda is more reliable than that new Nissan will be, but at the same time, it is a newer van, and it's going to allow me to have a bigger, more comfortable home on the road, something that I'm going to be able to enjoy for years to come, and something that's going to be more comfortable for me while I'm traveling around. I don't really intend to give up this lifestyle. I plan to keep doing it for the long term, and I'd like to have something that's going to be a little bit better for me, that's going to make my life better. So that's kind of why I'm ready to move on to something new here. And the Element, I have to put money into it. I know I've mentioned the suspension definitely needs some work, so whoever buys the Element's going to have to think about the suspension and doing some work on the suspension. And for me, like, instead of putting the money into the Element, into this existing vehicle that I have, I want to put it into something and build towards something for me for the future, like I said, to make my life more comfortable and to make my life better. So that's where I am with that. And it's weird to have finally come to this decision, and I've definitely been thinking about it a lot. I know I've made a few videos. It's definitely come up in videos over the past 3 or 4 months here, and it feels nice to finally kind of be at this point where I'm getting to the point where I'm ready to move on. And I'm still not 100% sure. I could go in and we could work out numbers tomorrow and they could try to screw me or something, and I just might back out and say I'm not doing it, and then I'll have to keep searching and keep searching, and who knows, maybe the search doesn't amount to anything and I have to keep the Element. But at this point, it seems like I'm ready for a change and I'm ready to move into something new. If you are interested in possibly buying the Element, feel free to send me an email, nate@elementvanlife.com, and we can talk about it and see what's going on. I know I've received emails in the past from folks that have expressed interest in buying it, asking me if I'm willing to sell it, and I wasn't willing to sell it at the time, but now at this point I am. And the reason that I say it here, I think I would prefer to sell it to one of you guys, to a viewer, someone that's been following along the journey. And I'm also not really planning to take apart the camper conversion. Like, I'm probably going to leave it just about the way that it is. I mean, obviously I'll take my clothes and stuff like that, but the way that the bed setup is and the shelving and the cabinets and all that, I'm not really planning to change any of that. And obviously even the solar stuff, if it's something that you wanted, I'm sure we could work something out where I could just keep the solar system the way that it is, so that the next buyer and the next owner could use it to go camping or to live out of full time if they wanted to do that. So something that I'm thinking about here. So send me an email, like I said, nate@elementvanlife.com. We could talk about it. Otherwise, I'll end up listing it online at some point in the next couple of weeks. And it is here in San Antonio, Texas. That's where it's going to be more than likely for at least a little while here, and we'll see what happens. Like I said a few seconds ago, I'm not 100% sure. I can't promise that it's going to be for sale, but it's more than likely 95% chance going to be ready to be sold at some point in the next couple of days here. Thanks for watching, guys. Before ending the vlog, I do have a couple of new Patreon pledges to thank: Minimalist Geeks and Henry Vang. Thank you guys so much for joining the Patreon team. I can't thank y'all enough for your support of the channel. I'll talk to you guys in the next video.